Hi, welcome back to Aquatic Australia. I'm your host, Sharky Jones. Today we're diving Rottnest from the dive vessel Ballot and Jack. On our way across to Rottnest, we passed the Ocean Apex rig that is refitting and refurbishing in Perth prior to moving north to the Northwest Shelf. Our first dive is at Cigar Reef. This is quite an open sea site with lovely clear visibility today. We pass a pair of colourful leather jackets and stop a while to watch them dance. They are related to triggerfishes and have a strong dorsal spine that can be locked in place as a defence, doing two things: helping them wedge themselves in a hole, or using the spine, making it harder for them to be swallowed by a predator. Outside a cave on the southwest side of the reef, we find a cleaning station with a large dewfish being cleaned by small wrasses. Dewfish are popular table fish and are supposed to be delicious and very popular with fisher people. Next to this cave is a very large cave entrance. It looks deep. Carefully, we enter the entrance, but only a short distance, staying within the natural light and in reach of an exit. It initially looks long and with no exit, however, it curves around to the left. I head in as far as I can still make a safe exit, and at the last minute, before having to turn back, I see the cave opens up with a number of ceiling exits, allowing safe enough swimming from exit to exit while always being in reach of one. I also stay on the ceiling to avoid stirring up silt, but it's not a very silty cave and it has enough exits. Still, you should only enter if suitably trained and equipped. Today, we only have normal equipment. Lingering in an overhead environment should be done with a redundant air source, even though it's a relatively safe swim through with exits every 2 to 3 meters. To reduce our risk, we swim quickly through without lingering. The cave wraps round on itself in a long left turn. I exit near the front and again stop to watch fish at the cleaning station. Another popular table fish swims past, a bald chin groper. Two six-banded coralfish, or moonlighters, swim past me. However, it's time to do our safety stops and head back up now. Our second dive is on the familiar and much-loved Roes Reef. This reef has many large gullies, pinnacles, overhangs, and some large caves. The site is also well known for its large schools of fish. We descend straight onto a gully and see some of our divers exploring that gully. Taking the wide view, you can see the wonderful lumpy landscape of this reef like an underwater mountain range. There are many schools of bullseyes around the site. These pretty orange fish hover wherever there are caves. We swim through a small hole at the base of a tall wall and then head out up over the other side, over the top of the reef. Over that next peak, we find a vast school of small silver and yellow fish called pomfrets. Next to large iconic sea creatures, there is little us divers like more than swimming through a school of fish. The center of the reef is bounded by ridges, as though being in a crater. The North Ridge has deep gullies to the south. Hovering weightless and swimming down the narrow canyons feels a bit like the trench run scene at the end of Star Wars. One of my favourite fish, a white barred boxfish, or as I prefer to think of them as pumpkin fish, hovers in the canyon. On the western side of the rim is a tall arch, nearly 10 metres high, and next door to that, on the left, to the south, is a large cave. The cave is a giant room the size of a small church inside. Being inside a structure and weightless reinforces the feeling of flying far more than being in the open water even. The walls of the cave are covered in colourful sponges. While I film my buddy Chris flying through the cave, another mate drops in from above, giving me quite a shock. Chris, by contrast, is relaxing and takes a moment out to enjoy the pure sensation of flying weightless, watching the bubbles fly upwards. Swimming back to the boat, I hear the noise of another boat passing close overhead, and then it stops, while I hover, watching a large school of pomfrets. All of a sudden, clunk, an anchor and chain drop from the sky, missing me by 2 meters. The video shows just after it landed. It's shot with a super wide-angle lens, so it looks a bit further away, but it was shocking. I took a video of the boat after the dive. It's been anonymized, but it was within the 50-meter safe distance. Sometimes it's necessary for dive boats to work in close proximity. If so, then you should approach dead slow, looking for bubbles, and slowly lower the anchor down into place, preferably in consultation with the dive boat already on the site. We spend the rest of the dive watching the large schools of fish and joining in with them until it's time to surface. One lesson to take away from this is that if you hear a boat overhead, it's not just the risk of a propeller strike. Look up and stay alert for anchors or fishing gear coming from above. The intruding boat is culpable, but we should also watch out. Thanks for watching Aquatic Australia. Join us again next time. Please share, like and subscribe in YouTube and other social media. Let's take a look at the still photos from the day.